Howdy, all you delicious people. Today I am here to talk about Season 2, Episode 1 of the 2-hour special of The Masked Singer. At the end of the day, I'm going to talk about it, maybe predict who I think is under the mask, and quickly reveal to you who was unmasked tonight on the first episode. I'm also going to talk about maybe the clues, maybe talk a little about how I felt about this first show coming off. But let's recap. If anything, I've never done the Masked Singer review before. I had seen the Korean Masked Singer with Ryan Reynolds and Kim Jong. I'd seen a couple of that, and then as season 1 of the Masked Singer, the American season of the Masked Singer, I went into that, and really at the end of the day, through most of that episode, I was going through and really picking pretty accurately who the people were. At the end of the day, I knew, talking about season 1, if you guys haven't seen it yet, check it out, but I'm going to talk about it here. Of course, I picked Terry Bradshaw. I picked the guy who was in Cheech and Chong. I picked Joey Fatone easily. I thought Neil Patrick Harris, and we got Donny Osmond, which was okay in my book. I picked Gladys Knight because it was kind of straightforward that she was on that show because she did some random national anthem singing on some TV show somewhere, and I caught that. I'm like, why is she just out of the dark all of a sudden just singing the national anthem on TV? Very bizarre. And then I'm like, it's gotta be Gladys Knight. I kind of assumed that for the longest time, but then like she did that on TV, and that kind of was a dead giveaway. Anyways, yeah. If anything, if you guys want me to kind of go through the first season, kind of recap, kind of go through everybody and tell you my thoughts and all the characters and whatever. If I guessed them right, if I guessed them wrong, then I'd be happy to just do a season 1 recap. But if anything, we're gonna go into season 2. If anything, I might not exactly say the characters' names correctly. But at the end of the day, via visual cue, you should probably know who I'm talking about. Anyways, let's talk about the show generically. This season, the clues are super vague, or I think they're super way off there. There was like the clues that were given tonight for people were so ridiculously vague. I'm just like, is this person a reality star? Is this person a fashion person? Is this person a person that cooks? Like, I have no freaking clue. And if anything, I think the clues are so extremely vague. Like, for the people that end up getting revealed and said, hey, what were the clues that made us know that it was you? And it was some random thing in the background that doesn't make sense to what the clue is. And like only a certain amount of people would know what that clue was, but at the end of the day, they probably wouldn't have even put 2 and 2 together. Anyways, the sounding of the singers for this season, I don't know, there was something bizarre with the sound. Every time someone would sing, beyond them being muffled, with of course there being a mask in front of them, it's like I couldn't, like, every time someone would sing, like the singing kind of sounded weird. Like even when people were unmasked and then singing, like the singing just sounded bizarre. It just sounded like dude, is there something wrong with these people's mics, or are they lip syncing this? I don't know. But it just sounded like in the first season you can clearly make out the songs, you can clearly make out the singer, you can clearly make out everything. In this season, the sounded different for some bizarre reason. So yeah, the clues, I think I'm probably gonna completely ignore all the clues, unless like there's something that really stands out. But because this season, like the clues or what are they? I don't exactly understand them. Um, so yeah. Other than that, I think this season is going to be a full stack season. This season, man, there's going to be like a lot of people. Like I have no clue who the people are singing this season. Probably the only person that I had no clue who it was singing last season was the Lion. But I was so ecstatic and pleased that Rumor Willis was the Lion last season. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, hell yeah, I know she can sing. Yeah, she can sing. I knew she did musicals and what have you. At the end of the day, Rumor Willis was like, man, she was awesome, and like I was thinking it was Christina Aguilera because of how good Rumor Willis was singing. Anyways, let's move on. Instead of talking about first season, let's start talking about some characters that showed up on this episode. I'm only going to be talking about the characters that showed up on this episode and sang tonight, because I it would take a very long time to talk about every single person, and at the end of the day, I haven't got enough assessment on all the other singers yet. We haven't gotten real, true, legitimate kind of clues and what have yous. So at the end of the day, I'm just gonna say that I just want to focus on who was not masked tonight and predict who they are, and then tell you what my prediction was for the people that did get masked and whether I got them wrong or right. Anyways, let's go on. The people who were unmasked tonight. First off was Ice Cream, or the Ice Cream. If anything, the person under this mask, he sang pretty decently. Yeah, like I'm sure a lot of these, I'm sure a lot of these people were really nervous. The Ladybug, the person singing as a Ladybug, man, did she look super nervous. Like she felt more confident after singing for the first time, but man, I just felt so bad for that person because you could tell she was just like she was like so scared and like hyperventilating and like or something. It was just like man, she's super nervous, but man, did she sound great. Um, but let's get back to the ice cream. Ice Cream, of course, was eventually a character that at the end of the night did get eliminated. There was two eliminations on this episode. So yeah, if anything, the Ice Cream to me, uh, really, I honestly didn't really have much clue who the Ice Cream was. At the end of the day, they talked about this character being on some social medias and him possibly like I thought he was like a reality star because that's what it seemed to make him out to be, like an actual like TV reality star. I thought maybe somebody from The Bachelor or something along those lines. Um, because when this person sang, it was just kind of like, okay, I can't make this out. Because he, of course, was really deep. So anybody could sound like that. Anybody could sound like that. But for the ice cream, he actually did sound really good. He actually did really sound pretty decent to me. Because who knows? There's probably some of these people going on this show that honestly cannot sing and then probably are getting voice coaches and stuff like that. So if anyways, my thought, which came out of nowhere, um, but not really nowhere. It came from because I was watching this with my parents. I was watching it with my folks. Anyways, I was like, I have no clue who this is. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. I have no clue. My mother guessed to be Ashton Kutcher, which I'm like, well, yeah, it does sound like Ashton Kutcher. Really, at the end of the day, there was a tractor in the background. There was like fencing and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, this could be like the ranch and what have you. Um, and something about it was just kind of like, well, I guess it could be like, if anything, Ashton Kutcher has done several reality shows. He's done Punked. He's done. You would think he would have some kind of social media status or something like that. So at the end of the day, maybe he had some YouTube or something at the end of the day. Um, so yeah, that was kind of like my first assessment of the ice cream. I really had no clue, but my mother suggested, well, maybe it's Ashton Kutcher. I was like, maybe it is Ashton Kutcher. Like, it does put a lot of things together. But yeah, at the end of the video, you're gonna actually see who the ice cream was unmasked. So keep with us to the end of the video if you want to know who the ice cream was if you didn't already know. The egg. Really, at the end of the day, I apologize for how blurry this picture is. At the end of the day, this character was very bedazzled. Was very very shimmery, very shiny. At the end of the day, without much any just visual representation. You would assume probably ice skater or maybe just kind of someone that's just really just likes to go ham on the shiny. Anyways, yeah, this character, I don't know, like some of these characters, like, man, they're either really good and they can belt out these songs, or like some singers are just kind of kind of like mouthing the word. They like a lot of these characters just can't really. Some might have just went on the show because it's like, yeah, more clout to to be on the show. But that's fine. Like, look at Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds went on the Korean Masked Singer and sang Annie's Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. So at the end of the day, like to see that show and see all the people that sang really well, each one of these people just brought something different to the table. At the end of the day, it was making it really tough to decide who the egg was. Because I'm just like, well, like this, the voice sounds really synthesized, or it just sounds like his mic was just weird or something like that. Like, and if anything, pretty much every single one of these characters has some kind of very like, like, kind of like they have like very much kind of like hand model kind of gestures. Like, so like they all act the same. They're all like, yeah, and they're all like that. Like all of them are. So at the end of the day, it's really hard to 100% determine like if somebody's like a boxer or something like that, or somebody's like or like a legitimate dancer or whatever, or something like that, because most of these don't most of these characters, like I remember the rabbit, Joey Fatone, like had a bunch of choreography, where most of these other characters I haven't seen any kind of choreography yet. But you just have to assess how good their voices are. Anyways, the egg, the guess for the egg was just shots in the dark. Because if anything, from sound alone, I went with Jason Derulo, which if you see in his costume here, it kind of looks similar to this costume, but that's not where I was like, oh yeah, Jason Derulo, because he wore something similar. I just assumed it was Jason Derulo just because of maybe like he's been in theater, he's been in Rent, and at the end of the day, like I just naturally assumed Jason Derulo because it kind of sounded like him, voice like. If anything, I also maybe assessed maybe RuPaul was maybe the egg. But the egg did get unmasked tonight, so at the end of the video, you will see who the ice cream and the egg were at the end of the episode. But yeah, RuPaul and Jason Derulo were both kind of like shots in the dark for me. I don't know, like there was like I was a little unsure about RuPaul because RuPaul is very tall. And Jason Derulo, I was like, I don't know. Like it sounds like him, but like I don't know if Jason Derulo like moves like that. So it was really hard. It was really tough. And at the end of the night, these two characters, the egg and the ice cream, got unmasked, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, all right." And yeah, I'll tell you at the end of the episode if I was correct or if I was wrong. So let's move on to the characters that sang tonight, and I'm going to predict, hopefully, any of these being correct. So let's move on. The butterfly. Oh man, the butterfly. This character sings really well. Really, really well. But at the end of the day, it's hard to narrow down who the butterfly could be. It could almost be like anybody who is really young and you could think could sing. At the end of the day, there's so many random people that I honestly could believe could be the butterfly. Based on kind of some assessments that some of the judges made and some of the assessments that I kind of thought in my head, maybe hearing a certain person from my past, my assessment ultimately was a butterfly could ultimately be Fantasia from, if you guys do not remember, Fantasia was a winner of American Idol. And at the end of the day, I was just like, well, I'm not sure at the end of the day if it could exactly be Fantasia. Like, really, this is just a shot in the dark. At the end of the day, Fantasia could really belt out stuff like this. So at the end of the day, I'd really have to go back and track down some Fantasia songs and kind of match what I heard on the show compared to what she sounds like, because I could be way off, and I think I am probably way off. Because some of these guesses could really be shots in the dark. This season is going to be so much harder than the first season was. The first season, you can easily just say right away, yeah, it's so and so. It sounds like so and so. And if anything, every once in a while, you'll eventually get tripped up every once in a while. But my guess is every time I would get two certain people, it would become closer and closer and closer. And then one of the coaches would guess something like, yeah, I'm going with that answer now. Because at the end of the day, that would end up being right. Because somebody would say, like, Ricky Lake was kind of a real like random guess for that season. And Robin Thicke was talking about Ricky Lake, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like Ricky Lake with the heart thing, and yeah, like Ricky Lake. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like it sounds like Ricky Lake. She was in Hairspray. Putting that two together, and I'm like, yeah, maybe it is Ricky Lake. If anything, talk shows and whatever. It's like, yeah. And then, sure enough, it was Ricky Lake because I cemented and was like, yeah, it's gonna be Ricky Lake. And like the only thing that I was like adamantly, I'm like, it's Neil Patrick Harris, and then it ended up being Donny Osmond. It's like, okay, well, Donny Osmond, freaking, what a guy, what a showman, and freaking blew me away that season. And of course, if you guys didn't know who ended up winning the first season, T-Pain. Man, was T-Pain great. Because at the end of the day, everybody was assuming that it was an athlete. He had a star on his thing all the time. It was just like, no one would have ever guessed it was T-Pain at the end of it all. Anyways, let's move on. The Thingamajig, the Chewbacca-esque looking character. At the end of the day, I have no clue who this is. I am not familiar with, like, if anything, I'm assessing that this character is very tall. So I'm assuming he's some famous basketball player. It could be a very famous basketball player, or it could be just some random basketball player. But that's who I have to assess who it is, because at the end of the day, I don't know anybody else that is that tall and that skinny. So I would have to assume it would be some basketball player. If anything, Thingamajig, as well as most of the other people that I've just mentioned, man, Thingamajig sings really, really well, really, really well. And the butterfly sang really, really well. And then the egg and like and the ice cream were just kind of like both characters that were just kind of like I'm gonna try my best. We're gonna try our best to sing these songs, and at the end of the day, what else could you ask for? Who I think Thingamajig is? Random guess of basketball players. More than likely, the most popular ones. I guess I would have to have assessed that maybe Michael Strahan, because considering he's doing the morning show, Shot in the Dark. Considering Michael Strahan is yeah, like he could probably fit in that head pretty good. Michael Strahan is pretty tall. And maybe Michael Strahan, while he was doing Magic Mike, also got some singing lessons. I don't know. Anyways, I also kind of assumed maybe out of just random bag of something, maybe a famous basketball player, maybe like a LeBron James or a Dwight or Wade or something like, or Dwayne Iverson or some famous basketball player that could probably get this show some more social media points. Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of this show is really, whoever they're picking is really just trying to get this show more clout and more faces on the product. And ultimately, by the end of this show, you can really understand why I say that. But I think everything is just kind of a strategy move to get more viewers on the product. It's to boost up ratings and what have you. But yeah, these two assessments, I have no clue. I am more than likely definitely going to be wrong. Thingamajig is probably going to win this, and at the end of the day, you'll see whoever it is, because I think Thingamajig sings really well, and at the end of the day, he is just goofy enough to maybe get much, much far into this show. But anyways, let's move on. The skeleton. The skeleton. The package that was kind of delivered was kind of the clues for this character was kind of all over the place. But to me, it sounded like some kind of sketch comedian of some kind. At the end of the day, this sounded like much more of a older actor, or a veteran actor, I should say, not older actor, a veteran actor, a person that either that or it could just be some person somewhere, some kind of musician that maybe is a old-fashioned rap star. I don't know. This one was super hard to pick out, but without a doubt, my choice for this, my only choice, was Martin Short. I would assume Martin Short, but at the end of the day, I am really struggling with concretely cementing that it's Martin Short. Like, it's yeah. Like, at the end of the day, Martin Short has done Broadway. Martin Short has legitimately sung in so many things. To have a character that is a skeleton kind of relegated to sing some kind of like rap thing, I know Martin Short could sing and sing well. So at the end of the day, I'm just kind of like, I'm not sure if this could be Martin Short or not. Um, I guess maybe time will tell if we hear him again. Then I can really cement who uh, the skeleton really is, whether it really is Martin Short or not. At the end of the day, um, when they said wild and crazy guys, you would probably assess like one of the Saturday Night Live guys um, that used to do the wild and crazy guys gimmick, the Steve Martin or Dan Aykroyd, and that's not really Martin Short. But maybe Wild and Crazy Guys was a reference to SNL, which in turn is maybe somebody who was on SNL, which was Martin Short. At the end of the day, yeah, that's who I would forcibly have to assess who the skeleton is. At the end of the day, only time will tell through hearing him more if I am right or not. Because at the end of the day, this performance was not um, this performance was not enough to really assess this person's singing ability. So we'll know more through more episodes, no matter however long this character lasts. Anyways, let's move on. The Rottweiler, which this character sung very, very well. The skeleton, if anything, yeah, that song was really just to get the crowd up, to get the crowd popping, and at the end of the day, yeah, real fluidity, real it's a really good choice of song. At the end of the day, I think that song will probably be much more memorable than some maybe the others. So yeah, it was a good choice. It was a good fluid rhyme and rap and stuff like that. Um, but now the Rottweiler. At the end of the day, picking a really great song by Hall and Oates, Man Eater. um, in all actuality, I think this artist actually sang this song a time before, but I'm not sure. But I'm sure he probably did somewhere. Anyways, Rottweiler, if anything, a lot of the clues were sports related. And I am just like, but it also said fantasy champion. So I'm like, so this all could be just all this sports reference could maybe just be all thrown out the window because maybe this guy just is really into sports and he's actually a legitimate singer because at the end of the day he sounds like a legitimate singer that I know very well. But I could be hilariously wrong. But I hope I don't because every time he's singing I'm like, yeah, that's that guy. That is that guy. That is, yeah. No one else sounds like that. No one else on the planet sounds like this person. So it has to absolutely be this person. If anything, while the judges were assessing who this person could be, a lot of these names that they came up with were just shots in the complete dark. At the end of the day, it was just any boy band person. And I'm like, I don't think that's even close to who I thought it was. It's not even close. It was just basically just like, well, hey, maybe it's JC Chazé. And I'm like, what? Like, just because Joy was on the first season, I don't think, no. There's something gravelly in this person's voice. Yeah. Rottweiler is a really cool character, and hopefully he makes it to the very end of the season. Because at the end of the day, if I'm right who this person is, I would love this person to win this season. But more than likely, he might not make it to the end of the season, kind of like he did possibly on another show, if I'm right on who this is. Anyways, let's talk about who I think Rottweiler is. Because at the end of the day, I thought it might have been before, like maybe Romeo, Master Peace Son, or maybe Little Bow Wow or something like that. Kind of a real, like, yeah, dog reference. Little Bow Wow or whatever. Some people were thinking like Michael Vick or something. It's like, dude, Michael Vick doesn't sound like this. Come on. Anyways, let's move on and let's tell you who I thought Rottweiler is and who I'm cementing is Rottweiler. Who is it? I think it is lead singer Daughtry from the band Daughtry. Really, at the end of the day, every time he would make those, every time he would sing, I'm just like, that's Daughtry. Like, when you hear any songs from Daughtry, like Feels Like Tonight, or Renegade, or any of those songs, like, I was thinking, God, this is Daughtry. I was just blown away because I'm like, yeah, Daughtry. I'm like, yeah, and who knows? I could be completely wrong, and I would be happy to be wrong. But at the end of the day, Daughtry is my pick for Rottweiler because at the end of the day, Daughtry is super freaking skinny, and so I didn't realize how skinny he was till recent photos. But yeah, at the end of the day, I hope that Daughtry or possibly Rottweiler wins this season, but who knows? More than likely, he might end up being second or third or fourth, which would be too bad. And I'm wondering if Daughtry is actually going to be singing any of his songs on here as Rottweiler. That would be pretty funny, just to, like, a little nod to his own music. Because at the end of the day, if people don't know it's Daughtry, and then like there's only gonna be so long that like people aren't gonna realize it's Daughtry. So he might as well sing his own music on the show. But you don't hear really much of anybody else who is an actual singer sing their actual material on the show. But it would be kind of funny if they actually did that. Like Joey Fatone didn't sing in any of his NSYNC music or whatever. So yeah, or any of his solo work that he did when he did Cross the Line or whatever that solo thing that he did. Anyways, yeah, Daughtry. Yeah, hopefully I'm right. If anything, like yeah, like you can like just assess like how like Daughtry looks, how Rottweiler look. It just it just really fits. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm thinking Daughtry all the way. So let's move on because that felt like a no brainer to me. I was like, yeah, no one else on the planet sounds like that. If it is somebody else, like man, whoever that person is really sounds like Daughtry. Man, they should have him lined up in a room together, and yeah, like hey, can you sing Feels Like Tonight or any of the other Daughtry songs like Cinderella or anything else, rock and roll from his more recent albums. Anyways, at the end of the day, this is the tree. Supposedly, this character supposedly comes out once a year. Now, everybody is saying Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. Is anyone forgetting a little thing called New Year's? Because this character said that she would come out once a year. And she would come out around Christmas. So immediately everyone is thinking Christmas. No one's thinking New Year's. If anything, if you actually look at the balls on this person's outfit, they are actually legitimately New Year's balls. For like the ball that falls and drops, or yeah, just New Year's Eve, New Year's Rocking Eve, New Year's whatever, a New Year's celebration, whatever, at New York. Yeah, at the, yeah, ball dropping, New Year's Rocking Eve, and what have you. At the end of the day, everyone was thinking Christmas. everyone was thinking that this person is cooking. I really took every clue in and really assessed everything that this clue was saying. First off, this person said that she was exiled a lot. Honestly, to be brutally honest to people, I have seen the Kathy Griffin show. I had seen a number of Kathy Griffin's shows, and I had heard that she was exiled from a lot of shows. And if anything, Kathy Griffin does perform via the ball dropping. She does kind of a commentary for what all's going on the on one of the networks. If anything, that's honestly what I assume who the tree was Kathy Griffin. Surely enough. I honestly have no clue if Kathy Griffin actually has a singing voice or whatever. But at the end of the day, if this is Kathy Griffin, man, does she sing really well. She sings really well. And a lot of people are probably thinking it's probably somebody really young, or it's probably somebody that's only performs during Christmas times, which everybody is assuming that it's some Christmas artist. It's gotta be like all tied into Christmas. Who does a Christmas movie? Let's assume it's somebody that does a Christmas movie. At the end of the day, one of these characters honestly do have to, in one way or another, relate to one of the hosts. And Kathy Griffin, to me, would be a person that could relate to one of the hosts. Of course, with one of the gals also doing the ball dropping, and of course Kathy Griffin ball dropping, what have you, at the end of the day. But nobody assesses that these balls are New Year's balls. Everybody is assuming that these are just Christmas balls. It's not. It's New Year's. It's New Year's, everyone. Why is this person in a New Year's like confetti, not Christmas like confetti? At the end of the day, I am cementing that this is Kathy Griffin, and I hope it is, because at the end of the day, we'll have her back on TV besides New Year's Eve or New Year's. We'll see her twice a year. We'll see her on the show, and we'll see her on New Year's, and yeah, because at the end of the day, I love Kathy Griffin's stand-up. I really enjoy everything that she brings to the table, and it would be great to see her being on here. But yeah, and I sing too, and it's like, that whole Trump controversy that she had with her having the Trump head and whatever. Finally after that, it's been kind of it's been years now since that happened, and we can all just wipe that under the rug. And now having her back, hopefully on TV, hopefully will re-cement that she's okay to be on TV. she'll do what you ask. And at the end of the day, I also love Kathy Griffin's rebellious side anyways. And of course, me being a Griffin that has no relation to Kathy Griffin in anyways, I hope that this is the tree, because I could be so far off here. But, the Ladybug, which I think will be our last here. It'll be the last, because that's the only person left who sang, and then after that, we will reveal, unmask, who got unmasked on The Masked Singer. Alright, the Ladybug. Really, the Ladybug, again, she was really nervous, but surely enough, man, did she sound really, really good. You could tell first out of the gate she was really nervous. The second performance, she was like, I feel good, and I'm just gonna blow it out of the park. And sure enough, she beat who she was going up against. If anything, her clues were just kind of seemingly really forcing this whole like the word the wheel kept continuously coming up all the time. The word game show kept showing up. And I'm like, okay, well, how many game shows have a wheel in it? How many shows have a female um, host or person that is famous and whatever? How many people have that at the end of the day? So wheel game show. There's not a whole lot of that. Like Price is Right, you can say there's a wheel on there, but at the end of the day, that's probably grasping at straws still. And there's no female host of The Price is Right as far as I know. So, anyways, if this is who I assume it is, man, does she sing really, really well, and I wish she would do more so on the show. But for this person, she's just beep, beep, beep. And this person who I would assume who it is would be Vanna White. I'm assuming, yeah, it's gotta be Vanna White. I would have to assume. There's so many times that was brought up the wheel in a game show. So Wheel of Fortune, sure enough. That's the only real game show that has a wheel in it. And at the end of the day, the wheel has a little clicker. The little wheel on the show had a little clicker and had like prizes and stuff like that. So yeah, at the end of the day, I would have to assume it'd be Vanna White, even though we have no clue her singing ability. Because she was just a person that just sadly enough just hit the things over time. A lot of times, a lot of characters were the coaches were assessing. Oh, she has a southern accent. This person has a certain accent. Yeah, who has a southern accent and whatever. And a lot of the guesses, honestly, are shots in the dark. And a lot of the times, you could assess that the voices, whoever they are, could honestly be forcibly doing an accent to trump people off the trail. Also, you can assess that. Yeah, you can assess that like all these things are so beyond far way off that I could be wrong on every single thing. So Vanna White, because you're unsure about her singing ability, you're unsure on how many other game shows have female people on it and are have wheels, unless they're taking it from an international Wheel of Fortune, because there's been a Wheel of Fortune in almost every bajillion countries everywhere. It could be Wheel of Fortune Turkey or Wheel of Fortune North Korea or Wheel of Fortune whatever the heck, Japan, Wheel of Fortune wherever they are. They every time we watch Wheel of Fortune, there's a Wheel of Fortune in some other country that we never knew there was a Wheel of Fortune on. Anyways, that is who I am predicting, and probably all going to be wrong on, except for maybe Rottweiler. I'm probably wrong on everything, and I hope to be wrong, because at the end of the day, season 1 was really easy to guess. So season 2, I am probably going to be randomly, crazily just like, oh, this person. I have no clue. But I really want these two episodes, the episode, to be kind of more fleshed out, and for us to really hear these characters and really know who legitimately clues or something like that, something else that'll really kind of be like, maybe it's this person the whole time, because Ricky Lake took me till like almost till she was unmasked to figure out who it was. And some of the other characters, yeah, it took like, it took me a long time to figure out who this person was. But anyways, now the season 2, episode 1, Unmasked characters. if you goose, if you goose, if you guys do not want to know, guys or gals, want to know who was, if you guys don't want to know who was unmasked in this first episode, maybe you want to go on to Hulu or whatever, go ahead. I'm not going to spoil who, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to wait to the end. But if people who had seen the show with me and are guessing along and maybe thought, yeah, this actually does make sense to have so-and-so character. But what do you think about the other ones? At the end of the day, we're going to maybe go through episode to episode to really kind of assess who we legitimately think these characters are, because I really want a full-fledged time for them to sing, maybe get more clues, and then I'll really and truly assess who these characters are. But now, spoilers for whoever did not see this pilot episode and does not want to know who the unmasked are, and they want to maybe watch it on some kind of Hulu or something somewhere else that was live, whatever. Anyways, you've been warned. Spoilers. First off, who was the ice cream? Tyler Ninja Blevins. I knew I would probably mess up the last name, because I only know him as Ninja. As soon as he unmasked, I'm like, oh my god, that's Ninja! Like, of course, professional gamer, YouTuber, and Fortnite legend. Because they had to put that Fortnite in there. Because, yeah, this, honestly, to me, this pick out of the gate here was a real strategy move. Because I think for this show, it was like a political kind of agenda with the way they're doing things. This person is basically, in some ways or another, the king of Fortnite. So at the end of the day, why not get the face of Fortnite, get the young audience in here, and be like, oh my god, Ninja sings? Oh! And so, yeah, this was a real strategy move on their point. If anything, Ninja does have a big following on YouTube, and who would have thunk a YouTuber being on TV? And it's not something that's just a reality show or some goofy thing to where a YouTuber can't legitimately get real traction at the end of the day. It's an actual show like The Masked Singer that is getting some buzz. So, I guess at the end of the day, Ninja did sound pretty decent. I can't complain about Ninja singing, because at the end of the day, what was I going to think, that Ninja was going to sing a Whitney Houston song and blow it out of the park? No, because I just don't think any of these characters have it in them to like do much Whitney Houston, unless they were like skilled for singing for years, and like then like you could easily tell, oh yeah, that's an experienced singer and they can sing Whitney Houston. Oh yeah, there's only a limited amount of people who can sing Whitney Houston songs and whatever. At the end of the day, Ninja's pick for song was actually pretty good. Maybe the song was forced on him based on maybe his skill or something like that. I don't know. More than likely, if you guys probably tune into Ninja's YouTube channel, he'll probably do all exclusives talking about the show, everything behind the scenes, and talk about the show in length. And more than likely, that might get traction onto his channel if there wasn't traction already. So at the end of the day, because Ken Jeong was talking about like, oh yeah, if only I could have that big fat following like you have on your platforms. Ooh, if only I could get all that sweet, delicious following. Can you give me all your followers and stuff? And Ninja's like, you're funny, Ken. But yeah, who knows when all of this stuff was actually shot? I don't know if it was actually legitimately shot all live. Because a lot of this stuff could have been taped beforehand, and then like people would have had to maybe remain secret on who it was that got eliminated. Some of it might have been shot the week before, and what happened might have been all shot in one on 1 month or whatever. I don't know exactly how it was shot. Maybe Ninja will give us some exclusives on what all went down on the show. Um, but yeah, it's like this was a very political move. Of course, picking a very face of YouTube. Like Ken was talking about, oh yeah, it's Pootie Pie, it's Pootie Pie. I'm like, it's not Pootie Pie. Like really, like I was like to hope that a YouTuber. I wasn't thinking a YouTuber at all because I was like, yeah, like they would pick any of us. But at the end of the day, a lot of TV and movie has been reaching out to YouTube to kind of bridge the gap of platforms. Because of course, like the Masked Singer does have a YouTube channel to watch some very brief clips. So at the end of the day, that is maybe trying to get some kind of street cred on YouTube. Just like, hey, Masked Singer, YouTubers, we got them. So yeah. Then more than likely, probably every season, somewhere is gonna have maybe a famous YouTuber. There was probably a lot of casting people that went into this. Maybe like a Jacksepticeye, or maybe like maybe like Mark, or maybe Markiplier, or maybe even Pootie Pie was probably like, hey, like how about we see if these guys are interested? Probably a lot of them said no, and then they probably. But I'm assuming they went to Ninja right away because at the end of the day, Fortnite is big on YouTube, so why not get the guy of Fortnite? It makes perfect sense. Professional gamer and what have you. He's popular on Twitch and YouTube. So at the end of the day, this was kind of a no-brainer to bring up Ninja. He's been on Jimmy Fallon previously, which I had seen that show because I wanted to see what Ninja was like outside of the YouTube bubble. And if anything, him and Jimmy Fallon had some fun together with the whole like him having headbands and stuff like that. If anything, of course, he changed his hair, I guess, to match his actual costume, which of course Ninja changes his hair all the time. But yeah, really at the end of the day, it was really cool to see a guy that is on my platform that not saying that it's like, oh yeah, that should have been me. No, because at the end of the day, who am I? I'm not the face of anything. I'm a person that just does this and tries to do the best I can with the limitations I have. But Ninja was the ice cream. If anything, again, pretty easily politically done, and yeah, because he's the face of Fortnite, which is popular on YouTube, and the Masked Singer just wanted some YouTube street cred by picking Ninja. So, the next character that was unmasked, whoops, Johnny Weir, which I have seen him several times when he would commentate on ice skating. If anything, he's a great guy. Had a lot of knowledge about the sport, and why wouldn't he? At the end of the day, I'm even pronouncing that right, Johnny Weir. Because at the end of the day, I couldn't even pronounce Ninja's name. I just called him Ninja. But two-time Olympic figure skater, and TV commercial or TV commentator and fashion designer. Yes, I might mess up on some wordages and some verbiages, but at the end of the day, yeah. If you even watch big, huge YouTubers that are much bigger than my channel, if you watch, there's this one show of WWE wrestlers. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, WWE wrestlers. They both have a figure hunting channel together. And a lot of the times they mess up their words. A lot of the times they say the wrong things. And a lot of the times stuff is in the video that probably should have been edited out at the end of the day. But these guys are celebrities. I'm just some schmuck that talks about Mostly movies, but every once in a while I'll poke in and mention something about TV. At the end of the day, yeah, Johnny being on the show, I was like, all right, because at the end of the day, I know what he brings to the table for the Olympics. I know what he brings to the table, for being a very good ice skater. I don't actually hugely follow the sport, but every once in a while you'll see some kind of clips of famous ice skaters, and of course he is one of them. And yeah, he does commentary really well on the figure skating from what I've seen. Because I know him, and there is a female figure skater that commentates with him as well. I don't honestly know the name of the other girl, which I apologize about. If people are much more familiar with ice skating, let me know in the comments below, because I don't watch that consistently. But I have seen Johnny on Olympics figure skating, and if anything, his commentary is very fun, very energetic, and like that really shows. That really shows when they do their commentary for this song. For this song, I just kind of like some people like, if anything, that song was probably really hard to pull off. So at the end of the day, I applaud Johnny for going out there, and maybe he does not have the greatest singing experience whatsoever, but at the end of the day, he tried. Freaking, I'm sure everybody would be scared, stiff, nervous, even a TV commentator that has done TV all the time. But at the end of the day, singing and commentating is a different animal being put on TV. At the end of the day, probably a lot of people who were on TV and probably are on this show are probably scared stiff. So yeah, but Johnny sounded decent. Johnny sounded decent. Yeah, probably against all those other people that were probably skilled singers. Yeah, it's a tough crowd. At the end of the day, I'm sure you could pick out the amateurs and the advanced singers clearly. And normally those are people that end up winning the shows, are usually the more advanced singers. But Johnny, yeah, freaking it was like, for me to pick the egg was a shot in the dark, but I was also like, but man, he's wearing some like figure skating, like ice skating kind of like outfit, and I'm like, but even like my folks who I was watching with this was like throwing a lot of stuff out. It's like, maybe it's Jim Parsons, the guy who played Sheldon on Big Bang Theory. Maybe it's so and so. Maybe it's this and that. Maybe it's, I'm like, maybe it's RuPaul, or maybe it's Jason Derulo. Because it sounds like Jason Derulo. That's the only thing that I could tie to this character for. Because like these two characters were real shots in the dark for me, because there wasn't enough to assess these voices. For Johnny, it did kind of sound familiar, but I was thinking Jason Derulo. For Ninja, I was assuming, I was like, I can't tell. The voice is too deep. I can't really tell. Ashton Kutcher. Like, if Ninja would actually had an actual thing where he actually sang, then maybe I could assess better, because I have seen Ninja on YouTube videos. Yeah, I'm maybe not a person that's die hard loyal and like and whatever, and I'll see it here from there, because it's kind of hard to, because he's so big on the platform, because especially because of Fortnite. And anytime anyone does Fortnite anywhere, they gotta mention Ninja in the same breath. Anyways, this first episode was not too bad, but probably out of all the performances, probably the one that I enjoyed most was probably the Rottweiler song "Maneater," because I just enjoy that song. Probably out of all the other ones, yeah, there was people that were that were belting out songs and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I really want to see the full roster of everyone who is going to bring to the table. Um, some random characters that I could maybe possibly assess from maybe another episode. Penguin. I'm hoping kind of like the Penguin might be. I'm assuming one of these cold characters might actually be Vanilla Ice, or maybe if you guys don't know, the rapper Rob Van Winkle, Vanilla Ice. That's who I might assess might be the Penguin is, but I have no clue until he actually legitimately sings. Other than that, Flamingo, no clue. So many of the other characters, again, I'd have to watch the episode and really assess because I would probably throw things out there, but it's purely just really guessing because without actually legitimate, real like singing for a good length of time, because there is performances of other characters that are coming on other shows, but because I think on the Facebook of the Masked Singer, the Facebook page of them, you could see like some other performances that probably weren't on tonight, like or that weren't on tonight, like the Black Widow, the Flamingo, maybe some others. Which by watching that, I could honestly not really assess who those characters were. Those might be very hard picks coming for more of the Eagle character. Like I made a joke that it's like maybe it's Dog the Bounty Hunter, but at the end of the day, like my mother was saying, it's like, well, it's probably Bret Michaels, and I'm like, yeah, that does make a lot of sense, but isn't that kind of really on the nose? If it is Bret Michaels, like that feels really on the nose. But I don't know. I really want to hear what these people have to the and really bring to the table. And there's some people that I'm just gonna be like, I have no clue. This season is so much harder than the first season ones. And we're just gonna be putting shots in the dark, and then we're gonna be blown away on who it actually is. So yeah, I think let's wrap this up because I've been talking about it for an hour. So about half of the time that the actual first season or first episode show was, because it was 2 hours long. So yeah, those are my picks. That's who got unmasked, and I'm gonna get out of here because this was an hour in length. So goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.